can stand against the Lord? Say no one can, no one will. Say who can stand against our King? No one can, no one will. The victory belongs to Jesus. The victory belongs to Him. Say the victory belongs to Jesus. The victory belongs to Him. 'Cause your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. And yours is a kingdom. Yours is a power. Yours is a glory forever. Amen. Oh, yours is a kingdom. Yours is a power. Yours is a glory forever. Amen. Yeshua, yours is a kingdom. Yours is a power. Yours is a glory forever. Amen. Yours.
Welcome again to another evening here on the podcast stage. As you know, we're here live at Grace by God. And as you see me sitting in this chair, you know that I have a powerful story coming your way. As always, this is our second episode. And it means that we're going to always offer you something that's going to build you up, something that's going to inspire you, something that's going to teach you, but more than anything else, something that is going to glorify God. So you know that we have a powerful story coming your way this evening. But just before we go into the meat of the matter for this evening, I am going to chit chat with my good church brother, Savon. A lot of you might know Savon, some of you may not. But tonight we're going to get to know a little bit more about him, and then we're going to just highlight a bit of his talents, as many of you might know that this man is very talented. So Savon, thank you for coming on to the Grace by God podcast show. How are you this evening?
Thank you for having me. And I am blessed to be here.
Good, amen. I'm happy to hear that.
Yes.
All right, so Savon, knowing you for so long, when I think about Savannah, I think about the arts.
Yes.
Acting, I think about dub poetry, I think about miming. I just really admire that you have a lot of talents. Like, do you know that you're really, really talented?
I heard it from a lot of persons, so yes.
You're really talented, and you shouldn't take that lightly because I believe that every talent that we have is really from God, and you're not just one dimensional. You have a lot of talents, and I just always, whenever I see you performing, honestly, I always sit down in church or anywhere that I see you performing, and I always think to myself that Savan is really talented. Really, anytime I see you on the stage doing dub, doing a mime or any of that.
Thank you for that, though.
So congrats on all of the good stuff that you have been doing, and
Yes.
just continue to keep your talent cemented and grounded, so you know whenever you're showcasing it is really for God.
Yes.
But let's get to know a little bit about you, like some of the things that somebody may not know readily about you. Um,
Yeah.
just seeing you, but they may not know this about you. How did your love for the arts started?
Well, it started when I was back in primary school. I used to attend this center called Junior Center in Greater Portmore, where I start doing music. My first instrument was the recorder.
Oh, really? Many of us first too.
I couldn't play it, and even up to today, I still. The only thing I know how to play on the recorder is BAG. That's the only thing. I just put it aside, and I saw the drums, and I got so fascinated about the drums and how it made. Cause when I was there, they taught us everything about the drum and the different tones of the drum, and I got gravitated to everything about it, and I just started with the drums. And at the junior center, they teach you music, dance, and drama. And my first thing was just music.
Okay.
And I started to play in the drum, and I heard somebody in the dance room doing a dub. And I said, yo, this bad. Because they incorporate the dub with the drums. And I said, yeah, man, this bad, man. I have to go learn this. And the junior center allows us to go to JCDC festivals.
Oh.
And at primary school, young and just vibrant. Just love the stage at that time. And we go there and we dominate festival. Sometimes we go there, we don't really get nothing. We get bronze, we get merit. And merit, let me tell you something about merit at JCDC. It is like the bottom of the barrel. So my first time going there, that's my medal.
That was
Merit. Me a freshman, so me get that, and me never really allow that to stop.
Right.
I still press on, I still do my music, I still play my drums. After I leave primary school, I went to Brayton Primary and Junior High, right? I never really did anything there much, right? When after I left that high school, I went to Cumberland High. I went there, that's where I really and truly took it seriously. And that's where I started to do dance.
Okay.
And that's where the mime comes in from high school. And until now, the acting, again, start from high school. And ever since from high school until now, I just can't stop doing it.
So what happened at high school where it became so integral in who you were and you took it that serious at that time?
This one poem that I did called Gate Man. Everybody know me in high school. Everybody see me, them call me Gate Man, Gate Man. And that poem really did a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
I did it, and from I did that poem, I say, I gotta start do more. I start write. Sometimes the writing just like I can't do any writing. Sometimes I do, and it's like it's like I have writer's block.
Writer's block, yes.
And sometimes it just really depressing, but I just still try my best to continue and continue. So from that one point, everybody say, yo, your body now, you need to continue, you need to stop. So persons motivated me to continue is just like persons who really know my talent and know what I'm capable of, they always encourage me to continue. And never stop and do what you know that you can do. And from there, I just continue. It's just the push that I got from those persons from high school, and even bigger persons like I met up with Glenn Campbell,
Right.
Titus, yeah, at JCDC, and he saw me on stage. And when I left the stage, he came to me and he said, "You, you're bad. Don't stop doing what you do," and just hearing that from him means a lot to me. So from then until now, again, it's just pure work.
So 2 questions came to my mind. Do you see yourself as that talented the way how somebody watching you might say, no, Savan, see you have a talent though?
Well, I really don't look at to be honest, they always say a butterfly cannot see their wings, right? So other persons outside can see it. So they are going to say it. But I will not brag and boast and say, yeah man, my bad, I let my work speak for itself.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
In a lot of your performances, right? You can feel it, you can see your expressions in your face, like you perform with your face, like you mime with your face, you do poetry.
Yes.
The expressions are in your face. Do you find that a lot of what you do in the arts is through your lived experience? It's because of what you have experienced in life, and so you express it so naturally when you're performing?
Well, I can say yes, because if what I do, if it doesn't minister to me first, I'm not going to put it out there.
Okay.
Because if I'm doing it and I can't get any glory from it, not really get glory from it, but if it don't speak to me personally,
right,
I cannot deliver it to anybody at all. So anything that I do, it has to come from God Himself. Understand? It has to minister to me before I can say to anybody else or mime or do anything at all.
Okay. So one last question, Savan.
Yeah.
Tell us one thing that no one might have thought about you as this kind of person. Share something that you don't think anybody would have looked on you and think that Savan is this way, or somebody would naturally know of you.
I don't even know what to say. I am, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say this. I'm just a humble youth, I'm just humble.
So I think so we can experience it that way, and we already know that we want something fun that we don't know about you.
Something fun.
Like Savan, something that we might not know about you already.
All right. I am scared of roach. Yes. Flying roach.
Me, I couldn't par because I am the same thing, and it's when somebody African deal with the cockroaches.
Enemy that. Anything that crawls.
Yeah.
I don't like it. That's it. I don't like nothing that crawls.
Me too.
Yes.
But thank you so much, Savan. It was really, really good chatting with you. Yes. And of course, I'm getting to know you a bit more. But you know, so you can't come on the stage, you can't come on Grace Bagan and not highlight your talent to us and show us what you're really capable of. So I'm going to give you the stage and it's over to you.
Thank you.
Showcase what you have.
Thank you.
All right?
I am an instrument of God's glory. Every time I think about my story, me send my praises up to the King. Praise Him with drum, keyboard, and the string. People is double. So nothing me I sing, just give me a beat, make me praise me King, praise Him with the dancer and the rhythm. So me drop to my knees and beg the Lord, please curve me behavior. Jesus Christ, yes, Him, I'm my Savior. Compared to Him, nobody else greater. Him give my words, put on the paper. The praise is higher than a skyscraper. Listen to me, son, I left the Bible. The devil devil get stifled. Some man have to walk up and down with no rifle. Matthew, tell me if you make enough disciple. When me say for make enough disciple, na left out your Bible, the devil get stifled. Some man have to walk up and down with no rifle. Matthew, tell me if you make enough disciple. Myself for make enough disciple, turn down the bass and give me more treble. Because my comfort take this thing is to what I level. Me say, put on my iron boot and step on the devil. The word of God, it's so sharp and bevel. Me use it for convert any type of rebel. Yeah, my blood that boil hot like water in a keke. Yo, Cain can do me like how him do Abel. Give me your wife, no man to me stable. Church service, I for show up and cable. Me drunk in a Christ, me no wanna read the label. Jesus Christ at the name pan me label. Now left out your Bible, the devil get stifled. Some man have to walk up and down with no rifle. Matthew, tell me if you make enough disciple. When me say for make enough disciple, na left out your Bible, devil get stifled. Some man have to walk up and down with no rifle. Matthew, tell me if you make enough disciple. Me say for make enough disciple. One more. All right. All right. Me say me young and me gifted and black. Me say me black and that's a natural factor. Me young and me gifted and black. Now give me no quote, me say me don't wanna crack. Me say me young and me gifted and black. The more you fight at the Lord, we are go chat. Me say me young and me gifted and black. That. Listen to me now. Marcus Garvey tried to tell us while the white man tried to sell us Nesta Marley was alleged Malcolm X a Muslim. Marcus Garvey tried to tell us white man tried to sell us Nesta Marley was alleged Malcolm X a Muslim. Marcus Garvey tried to sell us while the white man tried to sell us Nesta Marley was alleged Malcolm X a Muslim. So me say me young and me gifted and black. Me say me black and that's a natural fact. Me young and me gifted and black. No give me no quote. Me say me don't want no crack. Me say me young and me gifted and black. The more you fight at the Lord, we are go chat. Me say me young and me gifted and black. Get that? Listen to me now. We are fair, powered up and get charged up. We have full of energy. Demons we are burn up. We are fair, powered up and get charged up. We have full of energy. Demons we are burn up. We are fair, powered up and get ready for the war. We have to charge up because demon not the far. We nah fight against no bag of human being, but instead holy powers and principalities. So then we have to put on the armor of God, the belt of truth, the helmet of salvation, the shield of faith in my right hand. Just see Jesus, him at the real big man. So we powered up and get charged up full of energy. Demons we have burn up, we have faith, powered up and get charged up full of energy. Demons we have burn up, we have faith, powered up and get charged up full of energy. Demons we have burn up, we have faith, powered up and get charged up. Charge up, charge up.
Jesus, him a the real big man. What a performance, Tavan. You wrote those pieces?
Not all of them.
But very good performance.
Yes.
All right, so on that note, we're going to take our first official break. So on the other end of this program, we're going to get to know a bit more of our guest tonight. Thank you for sticking through until now.
Who can stand against the Lord? Say no one can, no one will. Say who can stand against our King? No one can, no one will. The victory belongs to Jesus. The victory belongs to Him. Say the victory belongs to Jesus. The victory belongs to Him. 'Cause your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. And yours is a kingdom. Yours is a power. Yours is a glory forever. Amen. Oh, yours is a kingdom. Yours is a power. Yours is a glory forever. Amen. Yeshua, is the power, yours is the glory forever. Amen. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, yours is the glory a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome.
All right, thank you for sticking through this evening with us so far. It has been a wonderful evening so far. As you saw before, Savon was here performing, very talented. And of course, guys, I have a love for the arts. And so, I really appreciate the poetry, drama, anything that has to do with music. So that was a wonderful performance by Savon. But at this moment, we are chilling with my guest for this evening, guys. You want to stick through all of this because this story is one that you want to hear. But just before we get to all of that, the story and everything, welcome, Ranique.
Thank you for having me.
Ranique, we really appreciate you coming by this Friday to stick with us. Today, Friday night, you could have done something else with your time.
Not really. Not really, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, man. So we appreciate your time. We really do wanted to know that we welcome you to Good News overall. And we thank you for taking the time out to spend with us tonight.
No problem.
All right. So, Rani, before we get to the seriousness of the matter and into the story,
okay.
I just want to get to know a bit about your fun side.
Fun.
And what do you do for fun? A little light moment kind of thing.
Okay, well, I also write. I am a performer as well. I'm a part of a dope poetry group called Drez.
Okay.
I like to chill. I'm not really a going out type of person.
Okay.
So I will stay home, I will write, and if you say, let's go to the river or something, then that's me. That's fun for me. I don't really do anything else. Yeah.
So how did your love for the art started also?
Actually, it started from Savon, if I'm being honest. Because he used to come by my house, and we used to just sit down, and I always hear him do this thing. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, teach me how to do that.
Just like that?
Yeah, just teach me. And then I realized, so me actually have the gift too.
Right.
But so that's where it started from until I started writing for myself. And then I call him and say, I was writing this, or he calls me and say, sis, I wrote this, and
it just yeah. So you want someone to actually put together a piece before?
Not in our way. One of the poems that he did, I had written the verse for that. He wrote a second verse, but he didn't do it. But we write together sometimes.
And where does your inspiration to write come from?
My life, to be honest. Things that have happened to me or things that I see happening around me. So if I am in a good mood, I write about it. If something happened, I write about it. If I'm not feeling okay, because I really don't like to talk. I don't know how to express myself to say, I'm feeling this type of way. So I have to write it. And if I write it, then I send it to you. I really don't. So most of the time, I don't remember what I write. I just let it go. And then you say, Rani, this, but I'm like,
But it was really you expressing yourself.
Yeah, because I don't talk. Right. I don't talk.
But you find that avenue where you get to express yourself through your writing.
That's the only way I can express myself. Yeah.
Awesome. And it's a gifting and a talent too.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
And because I want the persons to know you who are watching just before they get your story, because I know that that's going to be one for them to really
digest,
as they say. But Ronnie, like, what would be one thing, just like I asked to Savon, that persons watching who know you but may not know about you?
That's really hard. People know me, but they don't really know that
Yeah,
part
they
about
don't
me.
know that part. They don't know that thing about you.
Outside of being afraid of insects, I cry easily, but you'll never see me cry outside. I don't
They don't.
care. No,
They
no,
wouldn't see you crying in
no.
public.
I don't cry in public, and if I do cry, you won't even know. Cause if I'm crying now and you call me outside, wipe up,
Child,
good
good.
again. Yeah, yeah. I cry easily.
Well, thank you so much,
Appreciate it.
Ranik and Savan. You can see, you have heard it here. Ranik said from her own mouth that you actually
Yeah, started.
her fire for
Yeah.
the love of arts and the poetry. So you can't
Yeah.
say you never at least impact one life. So that should be enough
And I
motivation
don't
for
think
you
he
to
knew.
continue.
I don't think he knew until now.
Well, something has been discovered here and graced by
Yeah.
God. Savan, that is enough fire for you to continue to push through with the work and the gifting that God has placed on you, because at least one life, it's a blessings. And thank you so much, Ranik.
Can I wipe
But
my face on you? Can I wipe my face on
yeah,
you?
man, definitely. But you also, just like Savan, you can't get away without not showing us a piece of your
Ooh.
work. As I said before, I have a real appreciation
For the art.
the art. And because we just get to know a little bit of your fun side, I wanted to showcase a bit of your talent to us tonight before we just get into the meat of the matter. So I'm going to exit the stage and give the stage to you.
All right. So a kind of introduction. This poem was actually written because of the story that you guys are about to hear. So when you hear it, it's that. Yeah. So until the music is ready, so I just want to let young people know that your gift, you shouldn't hide it. It can actually be the greatest thing that can ever happen to a young person, especially people like me who don't really talk and you don't have someone that you can call any hours of the night. If you write, write. If you dance, dance. If you sing, sing. Don't shy away from your talent, because then you're going to end up lose it, and then you're going to miss out on the blessing that's supposed to come from you using your talent. Me get scared when you look upon me and you smile. Me used to think to myself, you the thing for a while. You look upon me, you never see me as a child. Every day and every night, all me used to do, I cry. You touch me on my ear, all me feel is a fear. You touch me right there and all me do a shed. The last time you touch my ear, I just the song with me, you hear lyrics bucking on my ear. Said, daddy please don't touch me dear. The pain is just not for me. Yo, the pain is just not for me. The pain is just not for me. Every day me a ball and every minute me a plea and a plea. The pain is just not for me. Yo, the pain is just not for me. The lunch money and the love, yo, that never free. Every day me that for ball. You stand up in front of me and looking straight in my eye. Me just want get some wings, cause like a bird, me want to fly. For move from the pain, become tired for cry. I wonder if me I go live with the pain ya till me die. Every day me get up, me still ask God why. Why me feel so much pain, yo? Tell me why me cry, nobody even care enough for system me that try to get out. The pain is just not for me. Yo, the pain is just not for me, for me, for me. The pain is just not for me. Every day me a ball and every minute me a plea and a plea. The pain is just not for me. Yo, the pain is just not for me. The lunch money and the love, yo, that never free. Every day me that for ball. Hey, me stand in at the shower and all me do I just a cry. Every day me cry, me still ask God why me feel so much pain, Lord. Tell me why me cry. Nobody never care enough, nobody never care enough. The long showers when me take away the pain, because the pain you come like white shirt when it's stained. The pain just a pour down like every rain. I wonder if I go live my young life in. You turn my mother against me because you want me for yourself. You take my friend them from me because you want me for yourself. You make me lose my happiness because you want me for yourself. You feel better now, big man. Like how me have nobody else. The pain is just not for me. Yo, the pain is just not for me, for me, for me. The pain is just not for me. Every day me a ball. And every minute me a plea. The pain is just not for me. Yo, the pain is just not for me. The lunch money and the love, yo, that never free. Every day me that for ball. And every minute me a plea.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Ranique.
ma'am.
Thank you for setting the stage for what is to come. You want to stick around because after this, we're going to get into the matter and you will hear more about her story and how God has gotten the glory from it.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
around.
Whew.
That was good.
Now I need the water for choo-choo.
That was really good. We need some water for you. No.
in the camera. So
That's fine.
yeah.
All right, thank you so much for sticking
Can't
around.
stand against the Lord. Say no one can, no one will. Say who can stand? Who can stand against our King? No one can, no one will. The victory belongs to Jesus. The victory belongs to Him. Say the victory belongs to Jesus. The victory belongs to Him. 'Cause your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name.
Welcome back to Grace by God podcast, and thank you for sticking around. This is the moment that you have been waiting for. You know that we bring you inspiring stories. We bring you stories that will definitely show you that God is real and He's a redeemer. And so this evening, I have with me here Ronique. As I said before, you have seen her, shared her talent. She has performed for us just now. Very talented young lady. And she has shared a small part of who she is with us also. But you're going to really get to know the reason she sits here today and why she can speak about the story that has changed her life, but has also given her a purpose to push through and highlight what God can do for us. Ranique, thank you again.
No problem.
Really appreciate you being willing to share your story, because I believe that there is power in sharing our stories.
There definitely is.
So I just wanted to feel comfortable and welcome in the space.
I am. It's just
I wanted to feel like you are at home and we're just having a conversation.
conversation.
And we're chit-chatting, and having a conversation. So that's where my mindset is at right now. So I hope you feel welcome in our space.
I do.
All right. And by the way, I said this before, but I really believe that you're also talented.
Thank you.
And in the pieces that you have written and I've seen, and just how you perform and deliver yourself. Brilliant stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, awesome. So, Renee, you have a story that, no, we are smiling, no,
Yeah.
but it's really a sad story. Sad because of the context, sad because the person that is involved in this scenario, we would expect should be someone that would be protecting us, especially as young ladies. And it's not something that in the moment when you realize that it was fun and something you want to smile about. And it has been a process of healing. But today, we can say that you're far from where you once were.
I am.
Definitely.
I am.
And we give God thanks for that. So let's start from me, Brony, with telling me, start back. You can go as far as you can remember or is willing to express how it started, what was happening, what was the process like.
All right. So everything started when I was in grade 9 at Excelsior, right? So for persons who don't know, I was sexually groomed by a deacon in my church for 3 years, so grade 9 to grade 11. For people who don't know what sexual grooming is basically where somebody just takes care of you, takes care of your family, gets close to the people that are closest to you in order to have a sexual gain in the long run, right? So it started from me just wanting to, not even say I wanted to, young people in summer, we have church camp and stuff like that. I am very soft-spoken. I've always been that way. If I want something, I'm not going to ask for it. because that's just not who I am.
Right.
I wasn't raised that way. So if you don't have it, just squat, humble yourself, and make it work. I was there and I just heard my youth president at the time say, "Oh, Ranique, somebody paid for church camp for you." Now, as a child, you're excited to go. I don't really care to know who paid for it,
Right.
because that's not what's important. Me, I get for that camp,
Right.
right? So I went to camp. I came back. Grade 10 started. School. Grade 9 started. Going through school, and this. I saw this person every Sunday after church. I realized, this person always checking up on me and stuff like that. Honestly, I didn't see it as anything, because in truth and in fact, it wasn't anything. Because I've come to the understanding that it starts as a genuine process. It's a strategy. So these people are very strategic in their approach. They're very humble in their approach. So the checking on me was, Ranique, how are you?
Right.
How is school? Do you have everything for school? Yada, yada, yada.
And more so you saw him as a respectable person
Yeah,
in church
because,
at Deacon.
of course, because, you're not expect this, right? Long and short of that, he was always present. It got to the point where he got to know my mother, got involved with my little brother in terms of always there. Everything that we needed. We weren't rich, and it was obvious, because what my friends had, I didn't have, but I really don't care, because my friends are my friends. The first thing he did when I was in grade 9 was bought me a phone. At the time, camera phones had started to be a thing. And I didn't have one, like what them call chopper phone now. I had one of those. And he said to me, his exact words were, "I don't want you to feel less than your friends." So he bought me a camera phone. Now, in grade 9, okay, thank you, move on with my life, because it's whatever. You say you don't want me to feel less than my friends, but I didn't. So anyways, move on. He got closer to my mother. So now, having my mother trust him, it was easy for her to tell him what we needed, or when we don't have stuff, or stuff like things like that. So he's always doing. For me and my little brother. When church over, I can tell you that he would come to me, and he would, or not even come to me per se, like my Bible, it would be at the back of the church. Because me busybody, me have choir practice, me have dance practice, my Bible just says somewhere.
Right.
But when I went home, there was money in my Bible, or lunch money. And believe it or not, there were 3 envelopes. One for my mother, one for my little brother, and one for me. So that was grade 9. Grade 10, I felt kind of weird. It really started to feel something to feel right about this. Because now, if it got to a point where if he saw me around another young man, it was a problem. I need to be careful of the people I'm associating with. I'm a young lady and I need to act accordingly and that kind of stuff. I was like, but why you have a problem? I mean, me just in a 10th grade. I have friends. Why is it a problem? And that went on, and he would go to my mother and make complaints. Oh, I don't like when I'm a tomboy. I always, playing or whatever. He would tell my mother, oh, I don't like when she's around all of these young men and whatever. My mother, I don't know. I think he kind of just got into her head. She used to cuss me and say, oh, Ranique, you need to take tilling. And, mothers are the friend and company, not going to make you reach now, and blah, 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 blah. But I never care. I'm always, because my friends come to my house, I don't go to people's yard. So my yard always full of people. And that went on, he would message me at 6 in the morning. He would message me at 12 in the afternoon during my lunchtime at school. And he would message me after school to ask me to stop by. Or because he had called my mother to tell her that, he has food for me to collect and whatever. That was, I didn't like that. I started to feel uncomfortable. Valentine's Day, I can expect something. On my birthday, in grade 10, he bought me a smartphone. I took it because my mother, he already told my mother.
Okay.
So she was expecting me
So
to
he developed a relationship
with
your
my
mother.
mom. Yeah. So everything he wanted from me,
He went through
he
your mother.
went through my mother. And as I said before, we kind of needed the help, so it was easy for him to manipulate her.
Okay.
Because if I say no, him just go to my mother.
Right.
So she know that I was on the phone and whatever. I started doing sports. I lost the phone after 2 weeks. After 2 days, he bought me a phone.
Right after you lost that phone.
Right after, without question, him don't want to know how the phone lost. I got another one.
Okay.
But this time he told me that his wife had bought me the phone.
Okay.
After school, I went to her and I told her thanks, but she was looking at me like,
what you saying thanks for?
Yeah, like, why you say thanks? And I'm like, all right, something really, really wrong, you know? He had a little office thing outside of his yard. He would call me in there to talk to me because he sees some changes in my body and he's seeing some changes in my behavior, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to walk home with one of my friends, and that person always wanted to use the bathroom, and I'm like, wall it till we reach our yard. We don't need to stop. Like, today's not the day, and we really don't want to stop, whatever. But because I didn't say anything, how I felt uncomfortable, so why you don't want to stop? I don't really need to use the bathroom. All right, fine. I went in the office. I stood by the door, and this was the very first time he was touching me inappropriately. He was talking about the friend and company again, and why I must start coming home so late from school. Even though I did sports, I shouldn't be coming home after 6 and blah, blah, blah. It's late and whatever. He touched me on my private part. I didn't know what to believe because in my mind, this is not what I'm thinking it is.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just tell myself that this was an accident to kind of not feel the way my body is telling me that I should feel.
And not to see him in that light.
Yeah. So I don't want to follow my mind to say this is what is happening. So let me just tell myself that this was an accident. That day passed. I didn't say anything to anybody, but I realized it became a thing. So he know always. So it was Sundays after church, Tuesday evenings after school, Fridays, and if my mother had reached out to him, then I have to stop too. So it was like the only way they can get stuff is if he gets access to me.
Mm.
You know, of course, I'll been training now keep, but they are school because it happened a few times after that, and I realized how am I gonna get out of this? Because I can't tell nobody. Everybody had him on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody saw him as, oh, he's the godfather and he's this person. And how do I tell people that this man who is supposed to be protecting young people, who is supposed to be a leader, how do I tell people that this man is assaulting me sexually? Me didn't even know how to feel about it. So how am I going to tell people that this is happening to me? Who gonna believe me?
Right. And at what point, Ronnie, did you start to feel or realize that, that something is really off about the way that this man cares about me and my family?
Because, all right, so he used to hold me.
Take your time. Mm-hmm.
He used to hold me and kiss me, like relationship kind of kiss. And I knew that this was wrong. Like everything inside of me felt wrong. So I knew that this is not supposed to happen.
This is not supposed to happen.
But again, it kind of felt like I was trapped because if I didn't do it, then you go to my mother and make a complaint. If I don't answer your messages, you go to my mother and you make a complaint. I'm being disrespectful, and I'm being this, and I'm being that, and whatever. And I got so frustrated. By this time, I was in grade 11, and my exams are come up, and I told myself that, Rani, after 6, go look at work, so you don't have to depend on this no more. You don't have to sit down in this.
The access point.
Yeah, man. You just go look at work. 6 months can stay, college can stay, go work because the only way this will stop. Well, it so happened that closer to exams, one Friday evening, I had youth fellowship. I didn't go because my mother was not feeling well. So I stayed home. But of course, and if anybody knows me, once my mother not feeling well, all of my friends them come play doctor, they sit with me and them not gonna just leave me like that. Because as I say, I worry a lot, I overthink, so they're not gonna let me stay by myself. So the friends were there. It was actually 2 guys and a girl, but he only saw the 2 guys. I used to live across the road from church, so my house is here, church is right there. So you can stand up from church and see over my house, whatever. I didn't even know that he was standing at the church gate watching me the entire night. He was watching, and my friends went to church and he asked them for me. They said she's not feeling well. He wasn't too happy about that because I never tell him that I was not coming to church. So after church finished, he called me. And this was the night I decided that I can't do this no more because bro God, I just tell me, say, if I had anything about me as a Christian, I would have come to church instead of sitting up on the veranda with the young man there. And the same thing always attacked him both and whatever. So I said, brother, you of all people are gonna call me out for my Christianity when you did to me, you did in the pool when me are baptized and you and you're gonna call me out. So at that point I was so angry. I said to him, yo, I can't do this, me done. Like all of that game, I have to stop. Me draw the line, I can't do this no more. Enough is enough. He thought I was joking, so he was calling my phone off the whole, as me tell you, in a female mind is a whole relationship. He was calling my phone all night and whatever. He texted my mother the Saturday morning and he said to her, things that I used to do, I will do no more. She ready to fly upon me. And honestly, I used to blame my mother. It took me all of 7 years to forgive her for not noticing.
Right.
I gotta do that because I know me. Leave it to me, honestly, because there were signs.
Right.
When you were sending me up there and I tell you, I don't want to go, I don't feel like going, why him can't just come, why him if I always go up there?
You should show that you were uncomfortable.
Right. So I used to say, you never see the signs, like, there were signs. If me I go up there, me I carry a whole entourage with me. One of my friend them I go, and he had a problem. Why when me I come, why me can't come alone? Why me I always have people? When I going up there, I used to wear like pants and shorts, on top of shorts, on top of shorts. That's why I used to always, because then it made him uncomfortable when he had to go under so many clothes to get to me.
And that's one of the things I want to touch on. I remember you stating, Ronnie, that you started to put in your own boundaries, like bringing friends if you're going around, wearing multiple clothes, and then share about the time that he told you that you should either wear a tights or
yeah, because at Excelsior you had to wear slip and tights. He told me either wear the slip alone or the tights alone.
But not wear.
But me just, I wasn't having it, so me wear two of them. So he was angry when he didn't have access or easy access to me. So after the Saturday, fast forward to that, for the whole day, he was calling my mother, telling my mother to send me up there because, he's not sure if we have food to eat, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, Mommy, if you want to go, you can go. Me not go. The man said what him say already, the man said things he said he's not going to do. Make him go on. I was trying so hard to not tell her. But if that the man say, make him go on, we don't need for prolong it no more. We can just draw breaks. So him go so, we go so. Nobody now for know what we have to go through for the past 3 years. Him never let it go. Come down to my house the night. Again with the whole, she's changed and since she start par with them 2 boys there, she get distant and she start disrespect me and whatever. No, this was the first time I've ever hurt myself physically. I had cut my wrist, and in that, as I said before, writing was my only way to say what I have to say. So I had written a 4-page thing explaining everything to her, all of that. And then that was a Saturday night. I went to my bed. I didn't give it to her till the Sunday morning. And then she said, oh, no. She's like, oh, you have to stop going to church and no. I said, all right then. Yeah, man, mommy, you're deaf on my side now. Like, you know the 100, whatever. He went to church. I didn't go, but my friends went and they told me that, oh, like they were so, it was so weird how God allowed him to expose himself, but nobody knew. So that same Sunday, my cousin called me and she told me that, oh, like today such person was praying and he was praying for the men that are praying and the younger girls and whatever. And I said, what you say? Because the only person who knew was my mother. So when she told me that, I said, what you say? And she said, yeah, man. And that same evening after church finished, man come on me yard again. But now I'm expecting my mother to just attack him. Cause no, you
Right,
know, you know.
You wrote the letter to her.
Of course, I said, all right, mommy, you gotta just jump on him now and just.
So your mother did
Nope.
nothing about it?
Nope. She just stood there. He was asking if I'm okay. He was asking why I didn't come to church, if I'm sick. And she just stood there.
Do you think, Dorani, that this man had created this image in your mother's mind?
Yeah, that's why I said, God allow me to forgive her. Because leave it up to me.
Yeah. And we just want to make some situation clear. Like, this man was a churchgoer, Christian churchgoer, was a deacon in his church. He was married.
Yeah, 3 kids.
His wife came to the church.
Yeah.
He had 3 kids.
3 adult kids.
3 adult kids. And at this point, you wrote a letter, you told your mother about it, your mother didn't react. But as you said, this is one of the reasons you found it hard to express it to anybody, because everyone in church pretty much saw him as this upstanding person.
Yeah.
Okay. So where did it go now that your mother knew, even though she didn't do anything about it? Where did it go from there?
So it so happened that, again, whenever she never asked money to send me to school, the Monday evening, and she had said, oh, call your youth president. I called her and I said, oh, mommy said I should ask you. Because me didn't willing for work at school. I don't live far from Excelsior. Me go through too much for ask people for things. So me never did ask. Mommy said I should ask you for lunch money. She's like, oh, you don't have to, whatever. Come for it. I went around there, collect the lunch money. She said, why you look like that? I said, I'm fine. I go back home. My mother was like, you never tell her what happened? Whatever. So she called her and she tell her. And honestly, that day, my whole life changed. Not for the better, but for the worse. My life changed. So she called me back and she said, oh, why didn't you say something? Blah, 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 blah. Everybody, that's their initial, why didn't you say something? Because it's not something I can just get up and say because everybody put this man on a pedestal. But anyways, that was a Tuesday night. No, exams was starting the week after, the next week. So, between that stress there, exam stress, I said, ironic, you know what? Anything. At this point, I really didn't care no more. She said she had to tell pastor. I think she did. I'm not sure. But the Wednesday, somebody from Sissoko came to my house. They said, they need to know what happened. I wasn't in a position to talk, so I tell him just let my mother show you what I wrote. From that, I took a break from the yard because he was still coming there because he was trying to figure out why I'm not talking to him. So nobody had told him that my mother knew, that this person knew, that person knew. So he was still coming in my space.
He still had access to you?
Not to me, because my mother had sent me to one of my friend's house and tell him that I went to study for exams because nobody knew. He didn't know that people started to know about it.
Right.
I came back, that's when everybody in the community now, oh, Johnny, and they start cussing, everybody have something to say. Everybody has something to say. You have the responses of the naysayers, you have the responses of the people who really just don't know how to respond to it. Then you have the people who just don't show no interest at all. But then there were the youth fellowship, there were the young people who made me know that I was not alone.
Right.
Youth fellowship, honestly. I got CXC, I failed history because I go into that exam, go sleep. Because I wasn't sleeping. I know I'm in a space where I don't have to look over my shoulder.
Right.
So I sleep.
Right.
I fell asleep for the exam and I got up like 15 minutes for the exam date. So I only could do one question.
Right.
After that, back and forth in court. That was a whole thing because I got court from 2015 to 2018. Nothing happened. They kept putting it off, till I personally decided that I'm going to withdraw from this. I was depressed. I was angry. I was alone. And when I say alone, my mother had stopped going to court with me because her response was, oh, she can't work all the time for this. And they keep on putting it off. I had nobody from church to go with me. And me, as a little 16-year-old, 17-year-old, with me for their school, I feel get ready by myself, put on clothes by myself, take up myself, go off a tree, go sit down on court by myself. And then when me look, me see even one whole entourage. I felt some type of way about that. I knew I was alone because the whole time I'm still a teenager.
So wait, who was this entourage backing him?
Some people from church.
Okay.
And they just walk past me like they don't even know who I am. That made me curl up. I was like, it was a stranger sitting beside. He was saying, "Oh, you don't need to cry, man. Everything was all right. Way mother there." And me, I said, "Sir, but you never asked for that." Because I started to cry more. And he was like, "You don't have to worry, man. You don't have to worry. You got all right, you got all right." So I withdrew from the case. People were saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have." But I'm saying, you were not in my position. You don't know how I was feeling. When I needed people in my corner, I had nobody. So for me to always get up and go court by myself, it was hard. It was real. I wasn't eating. Anytime say court to come up, everybody can know. I was not eating. I wasn't talking to anybody. At one point, my mother thought I was going crazy because I would just come in, bed, sit down outside till like 11 o'clock, come back inside, bed, do the same thing over and over. For days, I wasn't talking, no eating, no nothing. She thought I was actually going off. But honestly, I just felt like I had nobody to talk to. That's when I wrote the poem and the poem was really directed to him. But I just had to release all of that energy.
Right.
So that's how all of that happened back up to 2018.
So, Rani, there is a lot to unpack, to be honest. Like, I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions because, well, you talked about how your mother responded to the situation, but how did your church respond to it? Did you feel like you get any support from your pastor? Or how did the elders react? Did you feel like they believed your side of the story or what you were talking about? Or this man's perception in church kind of clouded what you were sharing?
Honestly, as I said before, it was really just the young people. And that's just the hard, honest truth. And I know if they see this, they're going to feel like, but I didn't have the support of the older people.
Right.
It was really just the young people.
So at any point, did your pastor call you to sit down and have a conversation about it? Was there any meeting held about it?
The very first time he found out, he called me. I had a meeting with him like the following day. But after that,
there was nothing. And I'm going to touch on another section of it. But this man, you can correct me if I'm wrong. To this day, he still attends the church? Does he still hold the same position?
Yes.
He's still active in the church?
Yes.
Okay. And Ronnie, I noticed you mentioned that you were living with your mother, and you mentioned a lot about your mother. Was your father there, active in your life?
He was father I'm a G, but you know, I grew up very humble. So if daddy say I don't have it, then that's it. He doesn't have it. I don't go call him and say, "Oh, daddy, but we need it." If it ironic, I don't have it today. And as I told people before, if my daddy come and say $500 go for serve for 2 days, it go serve me for 2 days because I walk home from school.
Right.
By choice, I walk home. So if $500 can do me,
Right.
I have a problem.
Did you at any time express the situation to him?
To my father? No. My father doesn't do emotions.
Okay.
I think he knows about it because if you mention the person's name to him or whatever, he gets angry, but he doesn't talk about it. So I don't know if he knows the full truth. I don't know how he feels. I just know that he's angry, but nothing else because he doesn't talk about it at all.
And gentleman's family, has his wife ever come to you to make an apology? Has he ever come to you to make an apology or any of that?
No. So there was a restraining order, right? But that never mean no, because I went to church. He would still try to come and talk to me.
After the whole situation?
Yeah, like it never happened. Like he would just try to come and say stuff to me, like, "Oh, how are you? You look different. You shouldn't let anything bring you down." That kind of stuff. Yeah, he talked to me like he doesn't know anything that's happening. Yeah, talk to me like it never happened. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you a tough question. I say it's tough because we all process things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you have forgiven him?
No. No. I'm working on it, but I think that going to take some time.
Right.
Like a whole heap of work,
Right.
especially because I don't think he's accepted the fact that he hurt me.
Hurt you.
I can't forgive him for that. So I don't want an apology. I don't want anything from him. Just accept that you did something wrong. Stop making it look like I just have this idea in my head that this happened to me and it never happened. So I have not forgiven him. I'm working on it though. I'm in therapy, so I'm working on it.
Initially, Rani, how did you start to express yourself after everything happened and you were trying to process it and trying to show your side of the story? This man not accepting it. You still seeing him in church pretty much not doing anything about it. He's still pretty much active in church. You're in the same space with him. You're going to court. You're so young. You're trying to process everything.
Mm-hmm.
How did you start to show up? Like, how did it start to show up from you?
Well, people might not see it or know, but I started to find some coping mechanisms that were really not Christian-like. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say it, no, but I am a recovering alcoholic. I started drinking habitually. So I will not eat, but I will drink a whole flask, of alcohol, whatever kind of alcohol. I would just drink like there's no tomorrow. I'm not eating, but I'm drinking. I also developed a liking for tattoos. Every time I feel like I'm going back in my head, I go and get another tattoo. Currently, I have 8 of them. And if you ask, all of them have meaning because they're all done at times when I was at my lowest.
Okay.
I don't just get up and, I feel like doing a tattoo today.
Yeah.
Every single tattoo that I have is out of, I feel this type of way, but I need a reminder that, I can keep going. Like this tattoo on my wrist, it says, "and so she goes on." I have to remind myself, I put it here because I can't stop.
Right.
I can't stop. So what I see this and I'm like, all right, I need to keep going.
on.
Yeah.
So it really became a coping mechanism for
It
you
did.
because everything was just happening in a whirlwind and you were trying to process everything
Yeah.
and trying to navigate this very, I don't know how to express it because I can't tell you that I can relate, but I just know that it is not something that would be healthy for your mental health.
It is not.
Right?
It is not.
Ranique, I'm sure that there is someone, and when I heard your story, I knew that I wanted to highlight it because I'm sure that across Jamaica and even beyond Jamaica, that there is someone who is in church like we all are, and we rightfully respect the persons that we interact with in church, but because we see them as Christians as they ought to be,
Yep.
and we hold them to that perception that sometimes even when they're doing things that we really know they should not be doing, that we don't know that we can really talk up or come out of our shell and share it because we are so afraid
Of responses.
of the responses, or even if someone is going to believe us, because who is going to think that this good deacon gentleman in church who is married is entertaining that kind of lifestyle, and the fact that he had already, as I said, that groomers are very strategic. The fact that he has already developed a relationship with your mother, come off as this godfather for you, trying to ensure that you have everything for school, ensuring that your family is good. So everybody just think that he's just there helping you. And even with your mother, do you really truly believe that your mother just did not know how to process it and that's why she didn't give a response that you might have expected?
If I tell myself that, it's easier to move past it. If I start to think about other things, it makes it hard. So I tell myself, she didn't know. She didn't realize, so you can't blame her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Rennie, where are you though today? How are you as you're still navigating? Because you know healing is a process.
It is. I'm working on myself. I've seen where God has never left me, and that's probably one of the greatest things I can say, oh, God real, because there are days when I don't feel like talking to nobody, but then I can cry on my pillow and say, God, can't do this. I really can't do this. And for every part of this journey between 2015 and today, the whole 7 years gap, I can say he has put somebody there to kind of help me through whatever season. Because there are some random days, I tell you, I can be good, and there are some random days where everything just flashes back in my head. But there's somebody I can call to say, yo,
I'm not good today.
I'm gonna feel 100. So either you're gonna come on me yard or you're gonna carry me go somewhere, because if I stay home, nothing good not gonna come from it.
Yeah.
So God has provided that person. Also, I think my relationship with him personally has gotten stronger because now I am better able to say how I feel and openly express hurt, because I did not know how to express hurt. Openly express hurt, openly express if I'm sad, if I'm angry, because I used to just let everything come off as happy. Like, for example, when someone heard, he cried because he saw me every single day through that period, but he did not know that I was going through all of that. He saw me every day. Because remember, someone come on here, will write poem and go every day. But he did not have any idea that this was happening. So when he heard Masarani, how, like, when? And that's something I think I give God thanks for, the fact that I can smile through any storm. It's work. There's a lot to work on because I have to learn that trauma, it doesn't go away. These things don't go away. You just develop new strategies or more healthier strategies to get through them rather than drinking or getting another tattoo. You just develop better coping mechanisms. And that's something I am in the process of learning, that the trauma, it doesn't go away. This is something that you go and live with for the rest of your life. And you have to be mindful of triggers. Like, if I'm talking to a guy and I really like this guy, the minute he says something that sounds like something that he used to say to me, my head just go. You know, don't tell me that my clothes is too tight. Don't tell me that you want to make much of me. Those things are triggers, and when people say those things to me, it kind of just
put you back in the space.
Yeah. So those are things that I'm trying to deal with as I go along.
Right. Rani, did it skew your perception of the church?
Yeah. It did. It has. But I know why I go to church.
That's
Right?
powerful.
Why I go to church. Not for the people, not for what people go think of me, but I go there to let God use me, you know, because I lead people. Young people look up to me. So I have to be very, because if I don't show up, they don't show up. And that's kind of some of the things that kind of keep me, the fact that these people look up to you. So you have to be strong, you know, but if you're weak, let them know that you're weak here. But you still have to show up. You still have to let them know that God is present no matter what happens.
And you're still active in your church?
Ish. I go, but of late, or since my story has gone public, it's hard. So I go, but I just sit because I have to deal with people looking at me strange, people staring at me, people just randomly walking up to me and say, "You sure you're all right?" And it gets me angry because where were you 7 years ago when I needed you to ask me if I'm okay? You know, so I just go now and I just sit. I just allow people to just look. I allow people to think whatever. But so I just sit. I'm not as active, but I'm going.
You still attend church. And as you said something powerful. You don't go. You know the reason you go to church, and that is powerful, because at the end of the day, even though the church, in a sense, would have affected or could affect how you dialogue with God,
Yeah.
you have come to the realization that you go there for God more than anything
people,
else, that and even the people in the church, because that should have been a safe haven for you, and it actually turned out to be a place that has hurt you. How has therapy helped you so far?
Whew, a lot. I don't react to things as quickly. No. I've actually learned something called cognitive reframing. So the minute the negative thoughts start to come, I think of something that makes me happy to kind of override what's going on in my head, because I'm very internal. So I learned to reframe my mind so it helps to not be in a bad mood all the time.
Right. And I love that you had said it at the beginning, and that's why I asked that question. I love that you highlighted that you are going to therapy, and it is important, because I know that sometimes as Christians, we believe that therapy is not necessary.
It is.
Because we have God. And yes, we do have God, and He's able to heal us, and He's able to walk us through the process. But having the ability to unpack it to someone and having, daily steps of how to manage this thing and how to navigate this thing is important.
It is.
So while you have prayer, while you have God in your space, you
The
still
practical
have the
stuff
practical
work.
thing going on. You still have therapy, and I'm so happy that you highlighted the importance of therapy, even as Christians, as we navigate these traumas in our lives. Because many times, like your story, persons are still navigating a lot of traumas, even as they sit in church. They have a lot of traumas that you're still navigating. Sometimes you will see it in their behavior. Sometimes it will come out in different areas of their lives because it's still there, and it's still affecting how they respond to things.
Yes.
And as you say, you have the triggers that you'll always have to monitor. Just know how to control and be mindful of your environment. All right. Your story was heavy, Rani. It was. But I still want you to, as I close and just wrap up, to share with someone who might be in your situation now, a tool that you have learned now that is helping you overcome the situation, and they might be in it currently. What would be your advice to them in speaking up, in getting their story out there, in moving past the trauma, and in bettering themselves?
Well, I just want that person to know that speaking up really isn't for people, it's for you. When you speak up, you give yourself a voice for all the other times that you felt like you were shut down and you didn't have an opportunity to speak. You have to understand that this is not your fault. You didn't cause this on yourself, because it feels like that 80% of the time. It's not your fault. You didn't ask for it. It just happened. You just happened to be that person. You also have to learn that it's okay to go through whatever you're feeling. Don't feel like you're not supposed to feel, because it happened to you and nobody else around you can tell you what you went through. Even if somebody has the same story, it still can't match up to what you felt or how you went through those experiences. Because I used to cut, I used to drink, I got tattoos. But then there are other people who will smoke or go to parties or become promiscuous. So for everybody, it's different. But just know that it's not your fault. It's okay to feel whatever it is that you want to feel. And try to love yourself throughout the whole experience, because that part is the hardest. It is the hardest thing to do, to love yourself after everything. I used to hate myself. Me hate myself bad. Cause me an idiot, and me should have stopped it when me did have the chance, and me should have said something. But then blaming myself is only making me feel worse. And I'm not a victim, but I'm a survivor of something that I didn't ask for. So love yourself, accept how you feel and go through it, and don't think that's your fault. Those are the 3 things.
And on that note, I want to say thank you so much, Rani, for sharing your story. Thank you for being such a brave soul. Thank you for speaking up. It takes courage.
Yes, it
really
does.
Because, there's always this voice
In the back of
right there, and this guilt and this shame that you still kind of carry. So it really takes a lot for you to share your story and to stand in your truth. It has been something that I've been talking about since lately. Standing in your truth, whether it looks like something pretty or not, it's something that you have to come to own. This is my This is my truth. This is what happened to me. This is how I was grown. I didn't cause this on myself, but it is my truth, and you have to stand in it. But it takes courage. So I just want to thank you for being courageous.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. And before we go, I just want to say a quick prayer.
No problem.
And
no problem.
Then we can wrap up and close it off.
No problem.
All right. So, Lord, I thank you for this space that you have created, this space that you have sanctified. Father, we thank you that you have allowed it to be a safe space where we can express ourselves. Even as Ronique has come to share with us tonight, God, I thank you, God, that she's able to stand here today and share her story. Lord, you have still given her the victory, even though the enemy tried to rob what you have placed on the inside of her. Victory still belongs to her. So, Lord, I thank you that as she recovers from this, that she's going to press forward and she's going to be a brighter light than she thought she had before. Mighty God, I pray, God, that you will continuously walk her through the stages of healing and processing it and overcoming it. Father, I pray that you will remind her that she is beautiful, that you created her just the way she is because you see her as perfect and there's nothing wrong with her, absolutely nothing wrong with her. And God, I thank you, God, that every time she shares this story, that you will be glorified as you were tonight. At the end of it all, you are the ultimate one that we want to be lifted up. I will give you thanks for it. We ask for your divine protection as she goes home, mighty God, and as she continues her journey. Even as I ask for your divine protection over everyone that is here tonight and everyone that is watching online, we give you thanks. In your mighty name I pray.
Amen.
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 All right. Thank you so much, Rani.
Thank you.
That was it. You heard it. I know it's a bit heavy because I'm still trying to process her story. I'm still trying to maneuver all the things that she has said tonight. However, I hope that you would have garnered some inspiration to speak up. I hope that you would have been impacted by it tonight. And I hope that you would see God being glorified in it tonight. So I thank you for your time. Another Friday night here on the Grace by God podcast. And I ask that you stick around for our next story that is about to inspire you.